Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. And yes, I am doing another video from my favorite place, which is the bed. But have you ever had those conversations with some of the people that are very religious or just into the Christian faith or whatever their belief system is, so tight that whenever you present anything to them outside of the parameters of their belief system, they automatically label it as demonic or evil? Well, if that's you need to watch this video. When you begin a path of learning and realizing some esoteric ideologies and esoteric knowledge regarding the universe being a hologram and our life being a projection, an image upon the earth and not really real in this three density existence, to some people, especially people of faith, that can be disheartening. It can be dark. It can seem low or kind of like a death, because you're dying to the ideas and everything that you've learned and throughout your whole life, and you're dying to a part of who you really thought you are. But when in actuality, just like Isaiah says, Isaiah 45, I believe it's verse 3, it says that once you really become curious about the truth, that the Most High God, the true Most High, the true divine intelligence will give you the treasures of darkness. So we see that the darkness is not only is it not the beginning of all things, but it is all things at the same time. And there's many treasures within that truth of knowing that. So I wanted to start this video off with being an encouraging voice to those who might feel like they're on a path of loneliness, in a walk of truth, in a walk of realizing what the matrix really is and how you're playing a game that's not really real. Spiritual paths like this can be lonely because it's only for us to walk through the doorway. Only one person can walk through the narrow doorway, the narrow gate of understanding at one time. So it's not about being a part of a church or a large group of people. You can be on a path of truth within the game of life by yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't have teachers or guides or mentors. It simply means that essentially you have to do the work. You have to be the one to walk through the path and the gate and the doorway of truth. And that happens on an individual level. We have to also examine who our enemy is. When we read the Bible, you would see and say that the ones that were protected were actually supposed to be what the narrative would call an enemy. So you see Cain being the first killer. You see him being cast out of the Garden of Eden and being protected and shielded and put a mark upon him so people didn't kill him. And then you go on and you see his descendants, Esau, and all the other people that came from his line being protected, ultimately, being prospered, being kept alive despite of their evil doings. But yet the actual children of God, the actual children of Yahweh himself, are the ones that are left cursed. They're the ones that are left to go through repeated life cycles on earth of judgment, of slavery, of captivity, of cursings, multiple captivities, even to the point of having to eat their own children to survive. These are what the children of Yahweh and the so-called Most High God throughout the Old Testament Bible presents for his children. He puts the enemy's so-called children before his own. So, in a sense, it's showing you, the Bible is showing you, if you read it with unbiased eyes, it's showing you who the Father and the God of that book is. It's not the most high divine creator intelligence of the universe that wants to see you good. That is not the Yahweh of the Bible, of the book. Just as he came to Moses and presented himself, saying that he could give him a land flowing of milk and honey and take the Israelites out of captivity, while he's subjectively hardening the heart of Pharaoh to make it harder for them to get out, and then putting them in multiple lands where they go into multiple captivities repeatedly, and then not fulfilling his promises of the land that was supposed to be given unto them. And this goes on for generation and generation. And then you also see the same tactic with Jesus Christ on the mountaintop, just like Moses. It's presented as the devil came to Jesus and said, look, from everywhere your eyes can see, I will give you this land. This will be yours. And what did Jesus do? He denied it. But when you really look at it closely, the stories of Jesus and Moses in that sense were very similar. These are the same beings. This is the same God. This is the same Yahweh, the same God of war, the yin and yang. He can grant material possessions, but he can't give you eternal life. This is not the Most High God in this book. When you solely rely on the book, the Bible, you're being deceived. You're being part of the program, and you're going to be subject to its deception. Many of us have been programmed to hold tight to our belief systems, the common belief systems of Christianity, Judaism, non-denominationalism, whatever. These are common programs that are running scripts in this holographic matrix, in these games of life, and they're deeply embedded into the brain computer of a lot of avatars. And I'm pushing you to uninstall these scripts, to uninstall this software, to uninstall these programs, just so you can be able to function when stuff really changes and stuff really takes place with the shifts. They're already talking about the moon wobbling. The planetary alignment is changing a lot of things. People are getting downloads from the sun because it's activating certain parts of the DNA and the molecular structure and the avatar body, which is also connected to the pineal gland. The pineal gland is something that is very important when it comes to connecting to source. It's actually the manifestation of the source fractal itself. That's why when you go to the Vatican, you think you would see a big statue of Mary or Jesus or the mother and child, but no, you see a big statue in the middle of the Vatican of a pine cone. That pine cone is a representation of the pineal gland. And that is a very important thing. That's the source fractal that comes from the cosmic divine intelligence, the so-called the Most High God. That is your actual thing that houses your spirit and your soul. This is what must become activated in order to ascend or to elevate your consciousness, so you can get as close back to the original source as a fractal as possible. So this is what has to be activated. But this is also stuff that is, this information it's hidden from the Bible. You can get some of the messages once you know and read other ancient texts, the Apocrypha, the Book of Enoch, and other tablets of Samaria, like the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, even the Iliad and the Odyssey, the 7 tablets of creation. There's a lot of ancient texts that will put the pieces together. Even some of the Gnostic Gospels and the Gnostic Scriptures will show you the real truth that needs to be uncovered. But because time is short, it has to be shown. But only you can walk through that door. Only you can go through the eye of the needle. It's not going to be an organization that takes you there. It's not going to be with the masses that happens. This doesn't happen that way. Even when the Bible gives you a depiction of what it's going to be like in the last days, what does it tell you? It says that when Christ comes back and when the books are closed and the 1,000-year reign happens, it says the devil and the beast will be loosed again. And you might say, well, what? I thought the new kingdom was established. We're reigning with Christ. Why is it only for 1,000 years? Oh, that is a long story. But the short answer is because religion, belief systems, Christianity, Catholicism, Hebrew Israelite, 5%er, Islam, Buddha, these are all part of the beast system that will be loosed again after the 1,000-year reign in order to keep the new slaves, the new avatar, in the 5 density matrix at that point, because we won't be on 3D anymore. Anybody who makes it to that point will be in 5D. The slaves with 5 density matrix will be kept in check by the same religious systems that we have here in 3D. Christianity, Islam, such and such and such and such. So it's not an actual devil. It's not an actual Satan, because remember in the last video, we know who Satan is. And it's not what the Bible says. It is true that he is Lucifer. There is a Lucifer. The bright and morning star, the light bringer. He brings light. Whereas the Most High says that he forms light and he creates darkness. He creates evil and he forms good. The true divine cosmic intelligence of the whole universe is a master brain computer system with all of its systems in place. And once you see the game for what it is, that these are programs running upon the earth. Every belief system is an ideology. It's a software program. Unless you know something to be true, then it's a software program playing out a part, running a script. You have a choice to install. Installing these systems will be scary. You might feel like it's taking you to a dark side. But just remember Isaiah 45, if you must use that book. He says he will give you the treasures of darkness, because there's much to be had in the light too, but even more so in the darkness, because the cosmic intelligence dwells in the darkness. This is the dark matter plasma that we're going to return to anyway. So go ahead and face it. Face any fears you have. Look at what you believe and say, hey, am I believing a lie? Or do I know this to be true? The choice is up to us. Do you want to go to the new earth? Or have to be stuck in a looping cycle of what you see here? This is a low plane. This is a low vibration level of existence. There's much more out there. There's higher dimensions. There's higher levels. And it's just for us to explore that. That's why it's also a lonely journey. Because not everybody is going to want to step into the dark side. Not everybody is going to want to walk through the true valley of the shadow of death to find what the truth really is. Another concept is space, outer space. The westernized man would say that, hey, space is the final frontier. And that software program is not really lying in that sense, because for that category of people that have lesser DNA strands than other indigenous groups in their avatar suits, they do. They have less of a pineal gland and source fractal to activate because they don't have the ancestral link to do that. So space in that sense is a final frontier for certain groups of people. But for the indigenous, for the older group of people, from the avatars, the ones that have a stronger point of a source fractals, aka pineal gland in their mind, who have the DNA, who have the melanin, who have the all additional strands of DNA in their avatar suit body, then yes, they can go beyond that. But that is a topic for another video at another time. But it just shows you the limitation of the parameters of these software programs that we have within the Matrix. The final frontier of space is true for one group of people, but not for all. And you might simply say, hey, now you're getting into conspiracy theories, talking about how space is not the final frontier and we haven't really been there, blah, blah, blah. Well, conspiracy theories are just another system in this program. So if anyone's going to have an opinion on it, everybody has a right to have an opinion on it, because we are all creators. We created this matrix, and we are the ones that are keeping it going. So nothing can be a conspiracy, because we designed it that. Nothing can be new under the sun. And as long as we're in this earth plane of existence, we can't even think in our avatar brains anything that doesn't actually exist in some density form or in any form whatsoever. So if our brain computers can imagine and perceive something, that means we designed it at one point and that it is true. So the conspiracy theory program is a software program of opinion and perspective. It doesn't mean that it's not right, because all of this is an illusion anyway. It just means it might not be according to a bigger program, a bigger software system that we would consider to be mainstream and widely accepted. And the one reason why that it's proven that nobody has landed on the moon and nobody has really been into deep space in an avatar suit body is because of the Van Halen belt. You can't get past that without some serious equipment. It's a band of meteors. The Bible speaks on it, ancient text speaks on it, but in this 3-density illusion current time, it's called the Van Halen belt because he was the one to bring it into consciousness. This is another reason why millionaires know that this is true. Elon Musk, Richard Branson, all those people are trying to escape the judgment of what they perceive to be the Most High God. But in actuality, they are going to the place that was assigned for them, for the place of judgment and preservation. So it's a final frontier for those groups of people, for that type of person. And it's also according to the software program of the scripts. The system of religion will have us to believe that they're going there to escape judgment because we subscribe to that software program, which is incorrect. In actuality, they're going there for preservation. It might be their final frontier, but it is going to keep them from anything destructive that happens in this hologram. And that is according to that software program of religious systems. And why? Because you have to remember who the enemy really is. The enemy of a software system, of the religious context of mass spirituality. The God is presented, but he's actually protecting the enemy. Cain was always protected. Esau was always protected. They were always protected. And that's how it's going to be when they go to space in the upper atmosphere to be preserved. The main takeaway is this. For everything that we thought was evil, our ancient origins, our African history, our African origins, our tradition, the Igbo tribe, the Yoruba, all the ancient things that was labeled demonic and unspiritual. Go back to that. Go read that. Go read up on Satan. Go read up on Lucifer. Read up on everything that was deemed to be evil and labeled as demonic outside of the software program of religion. See if that data resonates with you. Eat the meat and take out the bones. This will be part of your deprogramming. This is important when you want to level up in the game of life. One thing I used to tell myself when I would find myself falling back into the traditions, going back into the comfort and safety of the parameters of the software program of religion, I would remind myself why the beast, this software program, would have to be unleashed after the 1,000-year reign of the Christ consciousness on earth in the new millennium. And it's because this beast, this program system of religion, is designed to keep the slaves and the servant avatars in place. Now, do you want to be a slave again, or do you want to be free? That's what I would tell myself. And that's why I'm here sharing this with you, because that's all I'm here to do. So, please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you in the next one.